Welcome back. On May 18th, 1991, the people of Somaliland declared independence from Somalia. To this day, Somaliland isn't recognised internationally, and because of that, it isn't able to access any outside help. So it can't go to the IMF and ask for a loan. But despite all odds, the people of Somaliland have built a truly functioning state. The rise in private sector development has brought benefits to society as a whole. Families can pay to educate their children, and a new university has been established. A younger generation of Somalilanders feel empowered and ready to play a role in shaping their country's future.
You can see it's getting better because of the common efforts of the youth, the women. Everybody inclusively will change the face of Somaliland in the next coming years.
We will continue to develop. But when it comes to decision making, now I'm fighting for my rights. Some of the articles in the Constitution are limiting youth participation in decision making. The representatives cannot be less than 35 years of age.
I think there is many people who already forgotten from the decision making, like women, young women, like me, like Zuhuris. We don't have access to participate in the decision making.
In the coming years or the coming elections, there will be many youths and women who have, in the positions of the structure of the government. And I believe that now we have more influence in the decision making because of the parliamentary and the government can hear our voice.
You see, where we are today is where our parents as youth in the earlier generation wanted to be, and their grandparents before that.
Go back to 6 or 7 or 8 years before. There were no universities, there were no employed youth. But now, after 10 years, we have organized youth, we have graduates from universities, from higher educations, from even diaspora. You see the difference between 10 years before and now.
I think our Somaliland state will be recognized in the future. There will be a better life for the next generation. They will get education, they will get everything they need. Because there's also many organizations who are advocating and lobbying for the better life for the women, for the minorities, and for the displaced people.
Political empowerment and human rights are issues that received wide debate in Somaliland, but restrictions on freedom and other serious violations can and do take place.
Recently, one of the most prominent newspapers in this country, the editors and their staff were imprisoned. It was nearly closed down, but that eventually did not become possible because of huge pressure from the international community and huge pressure from the public and the opposition parties.
Yusuf Abdi Gabodi was one of those journalists imprisoned on a charge of defaming the government. He was released after 3 months in prison.
My colleagues and I were released because people inside and outside the country demanded that we are released from prison. Human rights groups protested, politicians condemned the actions. There was a widespread popular support for us domestically and also internationally, and this resulted to our release. The knowledge that people were actively engaged in seeking our release, people who were outside, like the human rights organizations, gave us strength to endure our imprisonment, our unjustified imprisonment for 3 months. This is an example of human rights and democracy at work in Somaliland, and the government had to give in.
There are very serious cases of miscarriage of justice, pressure against free enterprise, pressure against freedom of the press, and many tendencies that worry us, that worry particularly the opposition and the people at large, which could endanger the whole process for democratization in the country.
If things like this go on, they might compromise our chances for getting recognition, because Somaliland has been known as a country building democracy, and the imprisonment of journalists certainly damaged the reputation of Somaliland internationally, and by default, the issue of recognition.
What's the law of the journalism? What's the ethics of the journalism? That was the things that make all the time the confusion. We are learning. And everybody in the journalism as well as in the government side is learning. And there should be that, The government can make mistakes. They can make the mistakes. We are all human beings. So we like to straight about what was the problems, and I hope the things will be solved.
The threats to the region's infant institutions of democracy and human rights are very real, and without support from the international community, Somalilanders must face the risks and challenges alone. However, despite all the odds, tangible advances have been made over the last 16 years. The state is functioning, the private sector is growing, and there is a strong emergent civil society.
Somaliland is a stable society. Somaliland is a democratic society. Somaliland is a country whose people are determined to improve their life. We liberated this city. It was completely razed to the ground. Now it has been built up. Things have changed. Everything, and a lot of good things are going on.
It's now freedom. I am really very happy. This is freedom. No robbery, no hunting, no killing, no nothing. That we will fight, freedom, for the last 30 years.
Walk down the streets of Hargeisa and see how people are doing their business in the markets, and how the money changes are having huge amounts of money just in the open air, doing business by themselves, and how the local economy is flourishing.
There have been rumours that some countries are seriously reviewing Somaliland's right to statehood, and Sweden now treats it as an independent entity for the purposes of providing development aid. Either way, the people of Somaliland are exercising their right to self-determination, and they have successfully brought peace and a democratic process to a region that is better known for conflict. It remains to be seen whether the day of recognition is close at hand, or whether Somaliland will remain the Horn of Africa's best-kept secret.
And this country will get rich. This country will be developed. This country will be recognized. By the time recognition comes, and we will hope it will come soon, we have already put the infrastructure of running a nation transparently, efficiently, civilly. We are going to continue for the next 100 years, irrespective of the attitude of the international community, whether they recognize us or not, to do exactly what we are doing. We are doing simply this for our next generations.
And now for something you won't hear me say often. Dim the lights down low and light a few candles and breathe in deeply. But keep watching, because our Power of One series looks at Satish Kumar, a campaigner who has dedicated his life to promoting a peaceful and calm way of living, where man lives in harmony with nature and his environment. Satish undertook an 8,000-mile peace pilgrimage where he walked through 4 nuclear capitals, Moscow, Paris, London and Washington, to raise awareness of his cause. And he did all of this without a single penny in his pocket. Sue Adicott went to meet him.
My power is power of non-violence. I say that at the moment, people are at war against nature. The way we treat the soil, the way we treat the land, the way we treat the animals, the forests, the trees, the rivers, everything we are polluting and destroying. We have to learn to live in non-violent way, a culture of non-violence, power of non-violence. So non-violence to nature, non-violence to people, and non-violence to yourself.
Satish Kumar lives and works in this small village in the English countryside, several hours by train or car from London.
People in the city should slow down. The true power comes from slowness. Speed is the curse of our Western, modern, industrial society.
Which is why this, and not this, is his commute to work. A converted barn outside his front door.
Anything interesting in the post today? We try to have office which is connected with nature. When you are a small organization, it is a human scale, And human scale is what I believe is important. At the moment, human beings are serving the institutions and organizations and technology and big successful profit-making companies. Whatever you want to do, it comes from your heart. If everybody can do that, and I'm sure they can do it, it's where there is a will, there is a way. When I started editing Resurgence magazine, we had 1,000 subscribers. And it was a hard struggle to get anything in the newspapers. But now, the editors of big newspapers are taking the stories from Resurgence magazine and making it a big story. Should I put some Earl Grey?
Yeah.
What, a couple of spoons?
Yeah. Satish has edited Resurgence magazine for almost 30 years. His wife June was a co-editor, but now concentrates on their garden. They are vegetarians and grow most of their own food.
I've always found that happiness and well-being is more important than a lot of possessions, technological gadgets. I've never been attracted to live in the city.
Satish, it's pouring.
It's good for the garden.
Yeah,
Gardening is not only to grow food, it is also to grow your soul, to grow your imagination, to grow your creativity. Find peace.
But you're lucky, Satish, because you have this huge space just to feed the two of you. What are the rest of us who cannot grow our own vegetables? What are we supposed to do?
Actually, you can grow food in the cities. It's a question of convincing people, but not just by argument, but also by example. Money is okay, money is good, but if you become slave of money, then it is not good. Money is not real wealth. The real wealth is nature. The land, the forest, the rivers, people, communities, families, friendship. That's the real wealth. We have forgotten the power of slowness, smallness, power of meditation, power of silence, and power of doing less but better.
Have you ever felt tempted not to live your message, to be attracted by consumerism?
Never. What we want to create a model of society which is going to be sustainable not for 50 years or 100 years or 200 years, but for millions of years to come.
That was our report on the remarkable Satish Kumar. If you have any views you'd like to share with us, then we'd love to hear from you on aljazeera.net/English. That's it for the programme, and until next time, goodbye.